I was on the Westbeth list for about 20 years, and it's a nice story. My mother, when I was in college, heard about Westbeth. She read about it in the New York Times, and this would be in the 70s. And she said, I need to take you out of school for a short time. This is not like my mother. We went on the bus, we came and saw Westbeth. And I said, what is this? I don't understand. And she said, this could be the greatest thing in the world if you're going to continue to insist on being a painter. Because if you lived here, you'd be safe for the rest of your life, and I'd never have to worry about you. Westbeth represents a peace of mind because it's safe and the rents are reasonable. And that is one of the greatest challenges for all artists, because very few artists can, unless they're extraordinarily successful, can afford to be in New York City and own their own apartment or co-op or anything like that. That's most unusual. Very few friends I know can do that. But Westbeth offers for the artist, the fortunate chosen artist, stability. The stability has enabled me to, what this building encourages subtly and amongst the various artists, to allow the artwork to be more individual and, frankly, more avant-garde. Now, to join your ranks, what an artist has to do, I could speak for a painter, is to make their decision as to where are they in the art world. Are they going to be, let's say, painting things that one might do more in the suburbs, such as landscapes and so forth, or are they going to, what Alex Katz, my favorite teacher at the University of Pennsylvania, said, I was blessed to have Alex, prepare themselves or make the attempt to be one of those that are amongst the avant-garde to help change the face of painting in the age that they're living in. So I took that challenge up, and Westbeth has allowed me to work in a much more cutting edge and avant-garde manner. This would be really the fulfillment of my dreams, because otherwise, if I were living someplace else, I would have to do a lot more commercial artwork to support myself. So this gives me the chance of a lifetime to participate in what, for example, the Whitney Museum would be looking for in their next biennial. And it's also an honor for me to be involved with artists who are, other than painters, musicians, opera singers, Peter Tobias. I mean, there are incredible people in this building that are, not only are they major names, but they have found successes within their fields that are different than mine. So when we have the music festival, I love to go. And I'm inspired too by Penny, who has the puppet show, and by Ralph with the puppet show. And I stop and think, that's magnificent what Ralph did. He founded the Halloween parade. It's extraordinary. So many artists, some of them I'm too shy to introduce myself to, even though I've been here for 20 years, but I see them walking down the street and I think, my gosh, I really screwed up my courage to say hello to Mr. Cunningham. And I was so shy when I first met him, I curtsied. I was so embarrassed, but it was Mr. Cunningham, it was Merce Cunningham. And so sometimes I hear upstairs a little pitter-patter of feet at night or in the day, and I think, that's the Merce Cunningham Dance Company. It's extraordinary. What an honor, what a privilege. Westbeth is a dream come true in this sense. At night, when I go to sleep, to the left of me was the great Saul Lachinsky, the wonderful artist, and you could hear Saul clumping around. You could tell when he's sort of about to go to sleep. To the right of me, Sherry, who's an extraordinary artist. Down the hall are Bea and Edith. To the left was Ponce. On the very end is a beautiful woman named Julia, and she's relatively new, and she lived in an apartment that two very famous pianists lived in, who was very special to all of us, and her husband was a famous painter, and Julie took care of them, and they passed away, and I would share a cab with the woman who was very, very tiny and elderly, and we would go up to the Met, and I was going to the Metropolitan Opera or to Lincoln Center to see a performance. She was performing. It's like, that's what Westbeth's like. When I realize at night, these people have come here realizing the blessing that Westbeth is. They've come here to do their art, so they've devoted themselves to their art. And that makes me feel totally at one with myself, that I'm doing the right thing. I'm not a freak. So what we must do is think about the future, and in every possible way, we must work very hard for the future so it is preserved for ourselves, but also so the name of Westbeth is continued, because it is much more important to be part of something that is a long-term success than something that has been fantastic for 40 years.